Siam Assembly builds electronics. Like many manufacturing plants, they reached a critical point where operating costs were soaring, desperately needing a lifeline. This diagram illustrates the manager's proven playbook: lean manufacturing, a highly organized system designed to drop defects to zero. Looking closer at this specific node, workers are given a kill switch. If anyone spots a flaw, they must stop the assembly line immediately. But weeks after the training, a massive batch of electronics shipped to an international client using entirely the wrong screws. The client rejected the entire shipment, slapping the factory with millions of dollars in fines. On paper, the system was flawless. Every worker knew exactly what to do. So how exactly did a scientifically proven strategy lead to an unmitigated operational failure? The truth didn't show up in the incident report. An operator on the floor actually noticed the screws were the wrong spec. But instead of hitting the kill switch, they actively chose to stay silent and let the flawed parts roll by. To understand why, we have to look at a rule coined by management expert Peter Drucker. He famously stated that culture eats strategy for breakfast. When modern executives hear the word culture, they usually picture surface-level artifacts like free snacks, ping-pong tables in the break room, or motivational mission statements plastered on the lobby wall. True company culture is an invisible force. It's the web of unwritten rules dictating how employees actually make decisions the second management stops looking. Until leadership identifies and understands this hidden force, any new plan they roll out is doomed to be swallowed whole on day one. Let's go back to that moment on the factory floor. The operator holds the incorrect screw. They know the written rule is to stop the line. But this factory lacks psychological safety, the belief that you won't be penalized for speaking up. For a decade, the plant has operated on a toxic blame culture. Whenever an error occurred in the past, bosses would storm the floor and deduct pay from whoever was standing closest to the mistake. This visualization shows how a lack of safety acts like a highly aggressive corporate immune system. The moment a foreign object, like a shiny new zero-defect strategy document, enters the environment, the culture's antibodies aggressively surround and neutralize it. The operator ran a quick mental calculation. If they stopped the line, they'd likely be blamed for slowing down production and penalized anyway. Hiding the mistake was simply the safest path for their immediate survival. When a formal, written strategy directly conflicts with a worker's unwritten survival instincts, human survival instincts win every single time. These hidden pressures follow the hierarchy from the factory floor all the way up into high-end corporate boardrooms. Take the push for digital transformation. A company spends millions on an advanced enterprise software system with a clear strategy to eliminate paper waste and streamline operations. Yet, the strategy dies on the vine because senior executives are addicted to traditional power dynamics. They still demand that their subordinates print out the digital files and physically hand them over for a wet ink signature. Or consider a corporation that mandates a pivot to an agile marketing framework, promising rapid product launches and tests. That speed hits a brick wall because the company operates in fiercely guarded silos. Legal and accounting departments aggressively hoard their approval authority, dragging out a 2-day campaign launch into a 3-week bureaucratic nightmare. A toxic culture strips the momentum out of world-class strategies, rendering them powerless across every tier of the business. To stop this from happening, leaders need a diagnostic framework to scan their own hallways and detect the invisible forces sabotaging their companies. Think of it as a Shindenshi lens. First, look at your turnover. Are your highest-performing A players consistently resigning? Top talent rarely leaves over a bad quarterly plan. They walk out the door to escape toxic middle management. Second, trace the flow of bad news. Does negative data travel freely upward to the CEO's desk, or is the messenger routinely shot for bringing up problems? Third, examine who actually gets promoted. Does the company elevate people who genuinely collaborate, or do you reward lone wolves who hit their targets by actively stepping on their peers? The answers to these questions strip away marketing speak and reveal your company's true operational DNA. You have to confront this reality before you draft your next strategy. If your culture is eating your strategy, you need to actively reprogram that DNA. There is a 4-step process to realign your workforce. Start by auditing the specific behavioral gaps holding you back. Then, the CEO must step up and personally model the change. If you want a culture that learns from failure, The boss needs to stand up in a meeting, admit a mistake, and publicly break the old habit of pointing fingers. This scale visualizes the third step, restructuring your KPIs. You cannot demand teamwork while handing out financial rewards based strictly on individual sales targets. People will always optimize for what gets them paid. Finally, establish new, recurring rituals. Whether it's a weekly pitch meeting for cost-saving ideas or an open forum for addressing bottlenecks, repeating these actions permanently embeds the desired behaviors into the daily routine. Strategy provides the direction, but culture determines the actual speed of travel. To scale, leadership must look beyond the spreadsheet numbers and master the invisible forces driving their people.